Bonjour and welcome to French Action, and today I will be helping you to improve your French pronunciation. This is very important for beginners, but also for those who want to speak better. And let's not forget those who are preparing for an oral examination in French. I have 10 tips for you. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! My 10 tips are in fact my 10 don'ts. So I will say tip number 1, don't ignore the French alphabet. If you haven't learned the French alphabet, it's not too late to do so. Lesson 1 with Jenny is all about the French alphabet. Why it is important is because in the alphabet you have the pronunciation of the letters. For example, the first one is A, and very often when there is a word with an A in it, students say A. But why say A if the French letter is A? So for example, if you have a B and an A, you have learned that the B is B, so you're going to have the B sound, and a B sound with an A sound in French will give you ba. As simple as that. So for example, in the alphabet, you will learn that a Y, for example, gives you the sound E and not I, as I often hear. So if you have a B and a Y, it's not going to be by, but it's going to be B. So that's the reason why it is important to know the French alphabet. I'm sure you know by now that French is not to be read the same way as in English. So my second tip would be don't forget basic French words to use as examples to help you with common sounds. What I'm trying to say here is that there's some combinations of letters which are going to give you different sounds. So this is a little tip for you. Think about Bonjour France, Au revoir Tintin. What I'm trying to give you here is different sounds. When you have an O and an N, like in bonjour, you know that is the sound on and not on, for example. So bon, on. Then if you have an O and a U, you will know that is ou, because we say bonjour. Then the word France, France, you have an AN, gives you the sound en, and it works as well with EN. AN, EN, AM, and EM. En. That's why we say décembre. Décembre, EM, because it's the sound en. Then you have goodbye, which is au revoir. Remember, au revoir is two words. The first one is AU, and an AU always gives you the sound O. O. Then for au revoir, the combination I'm talking about is the OI. When you have OI, is the sound wa. Au revoir. And then you have Tintin. Always hear Tintin, but it's Tintin. When you have IN, is the sound un and not in. It can be in, but if you have the IN followed by a consonant, you're going to have the sound un. That's why we say invite, invitation, invitation, invitation. So if you can remember those words, it's going to help you to think about the pronunciation of words with similar sound. So remember, if you see the ON, the OI, the AU, the AN, the IN, it will always be the same sound. Tip number 3, don't read the English way. Yes, indeed, you will be tempted to read the English way. Why? Because there's over 50% of French words in English. So when you see them in French, you think that they are English, so you will pronounce them the English way. In fact, it's not so. For example, nature in English versus nature. You can see the difference. Or information in English versus information. So you can see that the pronunciation is very different. Now, what you need to do is really to break the words into syllables. So what you're going to do is to say, okay, in English is nature, but I know it's not going to be the same pronunciation. So let's break it. NA gives you na, and we know that because the first letter of the alphabet is A. So it's not going to be ne, it's going to be na. Then we know that in the French alphabet, the U is U. So we're going to say tu, na, tu. And then we have an R and an E. Remember, the E without an accent is silent. So it's as if there was no E there. So you're going to have nature, a little R at the end. Not nature, but nature. And we're going to do the same thing for information. So, un, IN, remember, tintin, un. Then we have for, for. Then we have the ma. And then we have this sound sion, which you're going to learn little by little. So that is going to give you information. And then when you have broken the words down this way, information, you have to repeat it in one straight way. Information, information. Nature, information. Tip number 4, don't pronounce the final consonant in the case of plural nouns like information, gâteau. As you can see, I didn't pronounce the final consonant. Or words like maintenant, I didn't say maintenant, I say maintenant. The T is silent. Tip number 5, don't forget to pronounce the E when there's an accent on it. Very important. It's not for the other letters because it doesn't make any difference in the pronunciation, but it is totally a different story when it comes to the E. So we have the first accent, for example, the accent aigu, acute accent in bébé. So whenever you see this E with such an accent, think of the word bébé, baby. Then you have the accent on the other side, which is called accent grave, and that think of the word father, père, where you really open your mouth. So the first one is bébé, your mouth is almost closed, whilst père, you have to open it. And it's going to be the same pronunciation when you have the accent circumflex, which looks like a little roof on it. For peach, pêche, just like père, same pronunciation. So you could have a word like the word event, which has the accent aigu and the accent grave. So you start ve, so now you open your mouth, événement, événement, événement. And I said even. As you can see, even the second E doesn't have a sound. So it's as if it wasn't there. And the E and T gives you the sound en, so événement. Tip number 6, don't forget the sound A. Yes, because the A sound can be seen differently. It could be an ER, an EZ, or even an ET. And if you see the sentence, you're going to see what I mean. Voulez-vous manger des beignets? So you have voulez, then manger, and beignet, and this is the same sound. Tip number 7, don't forget to pronounce the S like a snake when placed between a consonant and a vowel. Snake is serpent, it's same sound really in French. So if you have an S between a consonant and a vowel, remember it's not observer but observer. Observer. Tip number 8, don't forget to pronounce the S sound like a French Z when placed between two vowels. So for example, if you have the word precisely, précisément, we're going to say Z as opposed to C because the S is placed between the I and the E, which are two vowels. Contrary to assez, when you want to say assez, enough. Assez is two S's, then therefore we're going to have the snake sound, assez. Tip number 9, don't pronounce the H. So we have hotel, we don't pronounce the H, and we have hibou, we don't pronounce the H. And it's the same if we have a cup of tea, which is thé, we don't pronounce the H. As simple as that. And my last tip is a very easy one. Don't roll the R like the Spanish, for example. I have found that many people try to use the R by rolling it, but really the R, when it's rolled too much, doesn't sound nice. So you hear, for example, la serrure, R. No, you don't want to have that kind of sound. French has to sound very nice. If it doesn't sound nice, there's something you're not doing right. That's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. 10 tips which should help you to improve your pronunciation in French. Until next time, au revoir!